Hi there, welcome to second Vue Storefront Core Hangout with the core team. Today we are pretty excited to share some news, some updates about the whole product lines we have on Vue Storefront, including some premiere. So let me first say something on the agenda for today and who we have here. So we have Philip, founder of Vue Storefront, responsible for Storefront UI, roadmap, and Vue Storefront Next. Me, so I'm also a founder today, and like those days coding less, but still pretty much involved into roadmap of the Vue Storefront product lines. We have Patrick Andrzejewski, in charge of Vue Storefront Next, and Patrick Tomczyk, who will share some news on Shopware PWA. The agenda for today is like on the left side of the slide. So first I will start with some explanation about the Vue Storefront ecosystem. I posted a blog post regarding the products we have. You can open it on our blog.vuestorefront.io. Then we share some news on Vue Storefront 1, including the announcement of new product, which is Capybara Theme. Then some news and preview of Vue Storefront Next R&D, Shopware PWA, and the most important part is just asking anything. So you can ask us anything you want in chat window. So open your chats on YouTube and use it for asking us any questions you have. Okay, so let me just switch to another slide. Vue Storefront ecosystem. I posted about this 2 days ago. I think this is pretty important explanatory blog post because Vue Storefront is no longer a single product. Our goal is very ambitious, so we would like to be a standard for e-commerce frontends, and being this standard for e-commerce frontend, we need to fulfill many different needs of our users. There's like no single segment of users using Vue Storefront. They are using it with different platforms, different needs, using some APIs, or just having the UI library. So everything started 3 years ago with Vue Storefront. So Vue Storefront 1, as we call it, which is the best option for PWA for Magento 1 or Magento 2 right now. It's very actively developed. We are releasing Capybara Theme based on Storefront UI. I will tell more on this later on. So this is the announcement we like to share today. Then we created Storefront Cloud. Storefront Cloud was released in 2018. It's a hosting platform, it's cloud platform. We call it Frontend as a Service. This is a platform where you can very easily run Vue Storefront. It's very optimized, very scalable using Amazon AWS services, CDN, Geo distribution, everything needed to run scalable Vue Storefront. We are investing into this product a lot. This year we will release some really cool features, including GitHub preview for pull requests and so on. Then Storefront UI. Storefront UI, like I put those products historically as they were created. So Storefront UI was created last year. We started February. The plan was to create just a better theme for Vue Storefront, but then very quickly this project evolved into a design system based on Google Retail Playbook, very optimized for UX and both UX and developer experience. Recently, like last time, we told you more on Storefront UI. Today we don't have any major updates, but Philip will share some news with the Vue Storefront Next part of this presentation. Vue Storefront Next. Many of you are asking us about what Vue Storefront Next is our R&D stream. So it's totally different architecture than Vue Storefront. There is no upgrade path from Vue Storefront. Some of you are asking if I should wait for Vue Storefront Next or use current version of Vue Storefront. The answer is, if you are on Magento 1 or 2, Vue Storefront 1, the current Vue Storefront is the ultimate choice for you. We are keeping it up to date. Patrick will share some news on the roadmap for Vue Storefront. And Next is just R&D as for now. So we are doing the integration with different platforms. We are having this totally new architecture. The answer is if you have third-party integration to be done, or some platform that is not already integrated with Vue Storefront, probably Next is a good choice because it will let you to integrate it more easy, more optimal way than Vue Storefront. Then we have Shopware PWA, a very interesting project. Another Patrick is a project leader for this stream, and we will share some updates in a couple of minutes. Shopware PWA is actually the first implementation on Vue Storefront Next architecture integrated with Shopware. This project is being developed in very close cooperation with Shopware itself, the Shopware company. So I can say it's really well optimized and integrated with Shopware 6. This is a very exciting platform itself. And then the last product line, which is Storefront API. It's, I would say, the next version of Vue Storefront API. So we invested a lot into GraphQL, and Storefront API is meant to replace Vue Storefront API in the next couple of months, probably around 1.13 version of Vue Storefront. So I guess that's it. I wanted just to revise my blog post here because it's very important for us to keep you all up to date with what we are doing, what we are working on. It's not a single thing. It's 6 or even 7 projects we are working on right now. So we are really committed to make all those projects successful. And let's go into next slide, which is showing you the I would say the relationships between the products we are working on. So our idea was to have this single UI design system, which is Storefront UI, set of Vue.js and shortly React.js components for e-commerce. That is to be used with all the product lines we have. So today we are releasing Capybara Theme, which is Storefront UI implementation for Vue Storefront 1. You can use it with Vue Storefront 1.11 without any additional changes. Vue Storefront is fully compatible with Storefront API, so this is this logo you have here showing that we are using this product with Vue Storefront 1. Then we have Vue Storefront Next, currently integrated with commerce tools about Vue Cloud and some other platforms to be announced shortly, and Shopware PWA. Those 2 projects are based on Vue Storefront Next architecture, also using Storefront UI. There is no additional API middleware, so they are integrated directly with the platforms. But as you can see, the very cool part of this whole puzzle is that all those projects based on the single developer experience, front-end developer experience. So the front-end part is exactly the same with all of those projects. The only things that the difference is the integration experience, the API experience is optimized to the platforms we are integrating. And yeah, I guess it would be pretty something. So it would be more like ecosystem than single product. Let us share some news. First is the Vue Storefront 1, and I hand over voice to Patrick.
Yes. So hello everyone. So quick news about current Vue Storefront, which is the Vue Storefront 1. So first of all, we still have RTS version, which is quite obvious because many of you are using 1.10, which is right now our RTS, and we still do support this, and we will be doing this for a long time. Next thing, 1.12 is in progress. It's very actually advanced, and we have done so many things so far, such as, for example, optimizations. So, for example, like because this time I want to optimize the whole Vue Storefront 1 just to provide a reliable application. So first of all, we did a lot of optimizations, and also we reduced a bundle size because we have noticed that some of libraries we can actually get rid of them. So right now the bundle size is even smaller. Next thing is the attribute optimization, because actually attributes were quite tough part of the Vue Storefront. For example, if you, let's say, had some product page, all of the attributes you have to load every single time when you visited the product page. So right now we implemented something like a different logic to fetch these attributes. For more details, you can actually see some pull requests from the past on the GitHub with with this optimization stuff. We remove unnecessary calls because sometimes we just use some dispatching an action to call to fetch actually some additional data. And right now, we got here remove them at all. Of course, we keep them only in the places when they are really necessary. Next thing is 1.13, which is actually only planned because right now we just are focused on 1.12, and then maybe during the next half a year we'll start working on 1.13. And so when it comes to 1.13, to just be more specific, this is the version when we want to introduce a Capybara theme as an optional theme instead of the default one that we had so far. Also want to do some stabilization stuff, and would be nicer so to fix all other bugs as well. And we would like to replace the Vue Storefront API by Storefront API, which is quite obvious because Storefront Cloud provides also a GraphQL API, and it's just better for now. And one more thing about Capybara Theme. This is actually a, let's say, separated project, but it will be included in 1.13. But about Capybara Theme, actually, Piotr will say something more.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. I think that's very important to take over from this slide, is that 1.12 is very progress right now, and it's all about performance. Capybara Theme is also part of this performance works. So let me share some news. Actually, today is the big day for this project because we just released the developers preview. If you enter the GitHub link, which is included here, VSF Capybara, you can see what we achieved. There is also a YouTube video showing the demo of Capybara. You can easily find it on YouTube, and we will post a blog post including this video as well very shortly after this Hangout, so bear with us. Capybara Theme is a separate project, as Patrick said, so you can use it instead of default theme. There is no need, or even there is not an option to upgrade from default theme to Capybara. It's meant to be used with new projects. The most important feature of Capybara is that it's based on Storefront UI, so the theme is very easily customizable, using many ways of customizing it, starting with CSS variables. Then you have the component slots. There you have ways to override the whole CSS. A lot of things you can customize, very easy to upgrade, much easier to upgrade than the themes we currently had on default theme, which is, I think, one of the most important features. Then it works with Vue Storefront 1.11. So if you're a starting project on 1.11, I guess Capybara could be a very good choice for this new project. We named this release Developer Preview because we feel that it still requires some QA fixes, usability fixes, this kind of things, but it actually works, covering all the features, all the main features. We are looking for contributors. So if you open this GitHub VSF Capybara, you can find some really nice issues, good first start issues and feature requests and bug reports from our QA team. So you can just pick up some of them and start contributing, which would be great. And this team will be included in the Vue Storefront core around 1.13, so end of this year, I guess. It won't replace the default team. It will be another team, so there will be two, default and Capybara. Maybe next year it will replace the default team. It's an option on the table we have. We feel that Capybara is way more optimized, meaning bundle size, prefetching strategies, all these kind of things. So we really feel better with the Capybara, regarding the quality of this team. And it's used by the Vue Storefront Next and Shopware PWA. So if you if you take time to get familiar with Storefront UI and Capybara Theme, you can very easily use those different products. Credits here, we had really engaged team on our side, including Tomek Kostuk, Paweł Smyrek, and Rafał Makara. So you can find those guys on our Slack, on our GitHub. They weren't able to be with us today because they were fixing last bugs before this developer preview. But they are on GitHub, they are on Slack, so feel free to ask them anything needed. So after this Hangout, take your time, see the demo on YouTube. We will post a blog post with more information about this team. And then we have some FAQ.
Yeah, so first of all, we created something like different slide just dedicated for the question when it comes to actually comparison between Vue Storefront 1 and Vue Storefront Next, because this is what we have noticed among of community, that some people are actually confused about first of all the differences and the goals between Vue Storefront 1 and Vue Storefront Next. So these are on the slide. These are the most common questions that are actually occurs on the Slack, on the YouTube as well, actually in many places. So we'd like to actually review some doubts about Vue Storefront 1 and Vue Storefront Next and these two products together. So first of all, some of you asked about the support for Vue Storefront 1. So if there are any plans for dropping the support for Vue Storefront 1 because we have a Vue Storefront Next. So no, we don't want to drop that support at all, because still so many of customers and so many of people from community are using Vue Storefront 1, because this is the actually PWA for Magento, and this is a product that just works. And we still don't have any integration with Vue Storefront Next with Magento. So the Vue Storefront 1 is the perfect solution for PWA based on the Magento shops. So we don't want to drop support, and even opposite, we want to support Vue Storefront 1 for a long time as it's possible actually. Next question, yes, if you're starting a new project, and you want to, for example, select the architecture, so and you don't know which Vue Storefront you should use, Vue Storefront 1 or Vue Storefront Next. So it depends on what's the platform you want to integrate to. If this is the Magento, so the answer will be Storefront 1. If this is the other platform, like for example Commerce Tools, About You Cloud, or something else, then the answer is VSF Next. But for the whole integration, of course, you have to wait even quite longer time, because those integrations are not ready yet.
I would just add one thing here.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking of integrating some custom platform or a third-party platform that is not already integrated, Philip will tell us some more on the platforms that are on our roadmap in the pipeline, but still some of them are not. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't like to name any, but if you like to integrate any different platform, please contact us. We will support you on Vue Storefront Next. It's much easier and much more optimal to integrate with Vue Storefront Next than with Vue Storefront 1.
Yes.
Also, I think you don't need to be worried about the fact that there will be Vue Storefront Next and Vue Storefront 1 wouldn't be that much updated, because actually Vue Storefront, current version of Vue Storefront is feature ready, and it's just a front end, so it's actually your backend which needs updates, not the front end at this point, because everything is already implemented, almost everything. So once you will have a shop at current Vue Storefront, the updates that we'll be getting will be mostly about stability, about bug fixing, about performance, and you don't need to worry that you won't support some nice features, because actually everything is already there. So this is also something you need to be aware of. Like, this is just a front-end layer.
Yeah, actually, that's even the goal of Vue Storefront 1. We want to just stabilize it during the next upcoming versions, like 1.12 and 1.13. So the major goal is to stabilize it. So actually, we won't implement any features, because we want to actually improve the platform to provide for you a better solution for Magento. So that's actually the reason and the answer for the question, that we will not drop the support for this Vue Storefront. Next question that arises here, so is there any chance to integrate Vue Storefront Next and Magento? So actually, it's not planned yet, but we would like to do this, at least start this year. There is no like fixed deadline, fixed the day when we started. It's just our idea to start with it this year. I got a custom backend. Maybe you can. Next question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you got this custom backend, as I just said, we prefer to support you on integrating with Vue Storefront Next. We already have some docs. We already have some boilerplate. We are by ourselves working on 3 different integrations with 3 different platforms at the same time. We did it fully intentionally because we were thinking like if we start the integrations with 3 platforms at once, it will be really platform agnostic what we achieve in the result, because that was the problem with the Vue Storefront 1. It was created for Magento mostly, and it's very optimized for Magento, the data flows, the data formats. So if you are to integrate Vue Storefront 1 with different platforms, you need to create kind of bridge, kind of connector that is moving this data from the format you have natively with this platform to our format, which becomes the common denominator between all the platforms, which is not optimal. And with Vue Storefront Next, you don't have to do this. Philip have some really interesting slides on that, like how it works, API client, idea, and this kind of stuff. So I will just stop here.
I mean, those are not the slides; they're actually videos. By the way, if you want to learn more about Vue Storefront Next, we have a YouTube channel, which you probably noticed. So just click at the profile and you will see other videos. There's a long video about Vue Storefront Next. There's also a video about API client, and we will be posting more videos about Vue Storefront Next. So if you're curious about how it works, then go to this channel. And today we are focusing mostly on news and on status.
Yeah. Okay, next question is what are the platforms that we support so far? So we started with VSF Next with integration with commerce tools. Right now there is upcoming new integration which is the About You Cloud. So these two will be developed right now. Actually, we don't have any plans for others, but I think it's only a question of time. But of course, we'll mention this integration on the next, later on this presentation. And last question is actually the most popular one. So is it if we implement even the let's say an integration with Magento, is it possible to migrate from Vue Storefront 1 to VSF Next? So the answer is no, because the VSF Next is basically totally new product. So it has a different architecture, different way of implementing everything. So it's impossible to easily migrate from Vue Storefront 1 to Vue Storefront Next. So if you want to do this, I think you probably will need to implement some kind of logic even from scratch. So that's the short answer, no.
Yeah, but the good news is probably don't need to. Like as I said before, like Vue Storefront 1 is feature complete right now. So once you build the shop, actually there is no need to benefit from other features.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, was it all?
I think
that's all. I think in terms of this question, I think that's all.
Okay.
You just skip Shopware, which is also kind of Vue Storefront Next, but it's separate product. So that's why we.
Yeah, but this is the integration of other platforms than Magento.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Vue Storefront Next.
So now it's time to talk a little bit about my favorite topic, so Vue Storefront Next. So I will start with an update. I hope some of you at least know what I will be talking about because there were videos. And on videos, we saw that we had actually 3 entities. So we had API client, we had helpers, and we had composables. So those 3 packages were a part of Vue Storefront Next architecture. And right now, we will be changing this a little bit because we'll be merging 2 of these packages. So API will be a separate package as it was, but helpers and composables will be merged, and the name of the package will be just Vue Storefront/platform, like on the slide. And can I have next slide? Yeah. So also we made a slightly API change. So this is how it looked previously. So if you wanted to use any of the helpers, you needed to import it independently and create a computed property based on this. And even though the idea was pretty cool, the issue with that was that you needed to import everything separately. You needed to write a lot of boilerplate code, and you needed to switch context. So for example, when you were writing something on the setup method, when you wanted to get another helper, you needed to import it separately. Also, it wasn't that clear which helpers you have available for certain data entities. So for example, you were not sure exactly what you can get for categories, what you can get for products. The only way to know this was actually to look into the documentation. And what we want to achieve with Vue Storefront Next is like really next level developer experience. So we wanted to actually have everything from TypeScript annotations and auto-completion. So this is why we changed that to the new format, which looks like this. So instead of having multiple helpers, we have just a from method. And this from method, actually whatever we put in this, so it could be a product, category, array of products, array of categories, whatever we put that here, after typing dot, we will have a list of available helpers for this certain data entity. So we have very nice auto-completion, and also we have a helper to make it easier to return computed properties for that. So less code, easier typing and annotations. Also at the top you will see that we have these two packages, helpers and composables merged. So that would be about changes, and now it's time for status. So what is very important is across all Vue Storefront Next implementations, we want to have the same goals, making sure that the quality of the software is there and that the quality is really high. So we really were taking our time to make all these quality checks. And of course, first very important score is Lighthouse score. And this is aims to be 19 plus for each page on Vue Storefront Next. And so far we are doing very good. You will see a little bit later that on Commerce Tools integration, it's almost 100 on some pages. Of course, 100% test coverage and full TypeScript support, which is optional, which means you can benefit from this TypeScript support, but you're not forced to know TypeScript to actually work with Vue Storefront. Okay, so now it's time to start with the Commerce Tools integration. I think like Patrick will talk a little bit about
so when it comes to Commerce Tools, so this integration is actually quite advanced. I mean, it's let's say a 40% or even 50, I think 40% of features are already implemented that provides from Commerce Tools. So this API is quite, let's say, 40% covered already. So right now we can log in, create an orders. You can look into the cart. You can add some products to the cart. You can visit, actually browse all the catalog, like category page, product page. You can switch the rank. Of course, you can create a user session, which means you can log in, log out, and even more. Right now, our test coverage is something about 98%, and actually it's growing because our goal is to have 100, of course, but even 98 is quite nice. And actually, that's already comes to Commerce Tools. And our second integration will be About You Cloud, which will be developed simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, can I have the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay. So another implementation that we are starting on March is the About You Cloud integration for Vue Storefront Next. And there's not that much to say about that. It will be the same as other Vue Storefront Next integrations. We're starting it on March, and it probably will take at least 3 or 4 months to have developer preview or MVP. Another one, and this is very exciting, so we are also starting a WooCommerce integration on March, and this integration will be created by our amazing core partner, New Fantastic from Warsaw. So those guys will be committing their time to make a WooCommerce integration for Vue Storefront Next. It will be done together with also Vue Storefront core team, so the quality will be the same as other integrations. And we are currently, this is nothing that is certain right now, but we are also considering doing a Shopify integration. But this is not something that is already set up. But there are high chances that there will be a Shopify integration. Okay, so the next part is about Shopware PWA, and the best person to talk about Shopware PWA is, of course, Patrick.
Second Patrick.
Yes.
Yeah, hello. This is actually the status, next status about Shopware PWA, because last time we talked about the full CMS integration and other features on the Shopware PWA. So this is about the new upcoming features, which will be released next week. First of all, is the ability to add Shopware plugins. We already have prepared Hello Cody plugin, which is kind of our test case scenario for the plugin implementations. So basically, what you're gonna do when you want to add a plugin, Shopware plugin to your Shopware PWA instance, is just installing plugin on the Shopware, rebuilding the project with our CLI, and done, because here's the output of how the plugin looks like after installation. It requires no development job. And how it works, how does it work exactly? Is like our team contains a slot. This case was a slot under the top navigation bar. And the plugin contains a configuration in which slot does it want to be injected. So our CLI loads plugins from the Shopware instance, and then displaying it on the selected slots. So that's why it does not require any development job to configure plugins installed from the plugin from the Shopware marketplace. Of course, there are special plugins needed for PWA. But there will be a comprehensive documentation how to do this. The second part is that we're integrating with the Storefront Cloud. Soon the main demo will be available on this address. We're moving there because the serverless architecture, which is now hosted on site, is not fast enough for us, because it needs some initial time to warm up before it starts rendering. So it's basically is not the best showcase for how to implement these kind of shops. That's why we're integrating with Storefront Cloud to be able to show the best of the product. The third feature is upgradable themes, because the user project, which will be the end project, can use any of the themes and with different versions, and it doesn't affect the end project, because you can switch themes, you can pick another versions, and it's all working. You can also overwrite any of these theme elements. And the better part is we have theme inheritance. So basically, for example, here we have our default theme, and you want to have theme when you want to have another head menu. So you're creating theme with inheritance of this default theme. You're changing only this, and then you're able to share this theme with others. This is only the case when you want to share your theme to be, for example, to others to use it in the user projects. Because everything what is done here can be also done in the end project. So basically you can override everything in this pipeline. So what's the timeline for the Shopware PWA? These features that I just talked about will be released in the next week, still as in our alpha stage, but we're aiming for the beta to the end of the March because we have pretty everything wrapped up. So it will be ready for real development really soon. And also we're looking for a pilot projects. If you're interested to being such kind of project, please contact Patrick Friday. Here's the email to him, so we can schedule a call and set if you're the right case and we're the right case for you. What's the pilot project? We'll have our full core team support, so this is very nice gain for you, and also it will be the first implementation which will show on the Shopware Community Days in May, end of the May.
Yeah, so this is pretty nice opportunity, especially for the agencies entering the Shopware world willing to have first case, so we can guarantee your support and the promotion in this case, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that we have everything covered, so now is the time for the questions. So we already have some questions here. First one was about our plans to integrate headless platforms like Prismic and Tandem.
So in terms of Vue Storefront 1, I think no, because this is the...
Actually, there is some modules
Already
for
have.
Prismic.
Yes, I wanted to mention that I think there are additional external modules for that. But when it comes to Vue Storefront Next, it's already implemented. You can use, if you start a project with Vue Storefront Next in the future, so you can use a Prismic integration because it's already integrated. I mean, you have a package for that. That follows our architecture.
And for Vue Storefront 1, please check our forum on forum.vuestorefront.io. There is the section called Modules Marketplace, and there is already a module for both Prismic and Contentful. They are made by external companies, but works pretty well. I knew that they are used on production with some projects, so I can say it's already done. The next question is about plans to optimize the search in Vue Storefront, because at the moment it's not really working good. So the answer is, well, we as a core team don't have plans to invest much time into search itself, but it's an open source project, so you can create the issue, feature request, and we are very happy to accept any pull requests regarding search improvements. We are also happy to accept the pull requests, including integration with Algolia or any other search provider. So that's totally fine.
Yeah. So, but I think because maybe if someone wants to, for example, implement a, let's say, better search for searching for based on the different fields or stuff like that. I mean, more advanced. So this is the part for maybe external modules or stuff like that. But I think the only thing that we can do and that we probably will do is some optimization stuff based related to search, because this is even our goal for upcoming versions, as I mentioned before. And let's say maybe, because I cannot be 100% sure right now, but the search is also a point I can agree with even with that. And the search is also the point when it would be nice to have this optimized as well. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is about how to integrate Vue Storefront with Shopware, and do I need to look further in Shopware PWA? So I think that I can answer yes. So Shopware PWA is recommended PWA and exclusive PWA for Shopware. We had this POC of Shopware to Vue Storefront integration, but if you took a look into FAQ or README on GitHub, you can easily find out that we don't recommend using it. Instead, please use Shopware PWA. So only Shopware PWA is officially supported for Shopware. maybe some other questions.
Yeah, I think we'll wait like 5 minutes more and there will be no questions. Install Shopify. So if there are any other topics you would like us to cover, for example, something regarding Vue Storefront Next, something regarding Storefront UI. Oh, actually, like in the meantime, when we'll be waiting for some questions, I can tell you that we also made a major update for Storefront UI. So I think 2 days ago, we released a new version 0.6, and in this version, we changed SAS variables to CSS variables. And this is actually very important because it gives you a whole lot of new customization capabilities, and you can actually customize every component in every scope which wasn't actually available with SAS variables. So definitely you should look at this because it brings a lot of new possibilities. Also, if you're already using Storefront UI, this is a breaking change. In majority of cases, the updates is pretty straightforward. You can do it with some simple search and replace. So you should definitely check that.
Okay, there is a question about the custom backend for VSF Next. So it's really easy to integrate with that. So if you have a custom backend, I mean, so really customized e-commerce platform. So the only thing what you have to do is actually write a new integration and write your own API client, because in the VSF Next you have different packages for everything, and one of them is API client, and the only thing that you have to do is just implement this layer, and that's it.
Okay, and we have a question from Olivia. So, is that for all the parts of ecosystem, or is Storefront Next? Is that for all the parts of the ecosystem, or is Storefront API, for example, still valid going forward? It's a bit unclear what is a part of Vue Storefront Next, and it's actually a good question. Like, so for Vue Storefront Next right now, Storefront API is not yet part of it. Storefront API for now is just an independent product, but it will be integrated with current Vue Storefront for sure. And once we'll create Vue Storefront Next for Magento, it will also be part of this. But also, we will integrate with some platform that have very long response times, it will probably also use Storefront API. But every other platform that we are integrating with, we are integrating without this middleware. So commerce tools, Shopware, About You Cloud, WooCommerce, all of these integrations are calling directly the API, so they won't use Storefront API.
Yeah, so the idea was that you can use some of the puzzles we offer, like Storefront API separately, use Storefront Next, Storefront UI separately, so you can pick and choose what is optimal for your business. And this is just another product you can pick and choose. Dan, thanks for shout out for Capybara team. I think that the team did a really great job. Take your time to show the video, install it with Vue Storefront. It should work out of the box, no problem. There is another question about the category important generator you were about. It's actually, it's not a question, but there is the second part that causes the category URLs, like, why is this way? Well, that's a good question. Like, it's just an option. You can modify it. Like you probably you're using Mage to Vue Storefront. So in Mage to Vue Storefront there is config.js, and there is this algorithm for building the URLs, which is customizable. So please feel free to just modify it. And Mage 1 VS Bridge indexer, Mage 2 VS Bridge indexer. So the native Magento indexers are actually using the URLs as they are set in Magento, I guess. Okay, so
there is also a question about Shopware. For you, Patrick.
Yeah, but we skipped one. Is there an integration?
There is no integration for OpenCart, but as far as I know,
there is integration for OpenCart for Vue Storefront 1, Philip.
For Vue Storefront, for Vue Storefront 1, yes. Yeah. So for Vue Storefront 1, yes.
For Next, there is no. So for OpenCart, yes, we have this integration. Check our forum, marketplace. There is a link. Great job done by our partner. We really appreciate it. Mohammed did it, and he also fixed a lot of bugs in Vue Storefront core, which is also something we really appreciate. So Shopware Marketplace.
Yeah.
Next
So with the Shopware Marketplace, the plugins in the marketplace needs to be dedicated for Shopware PWA. So there will be marked as with some label or something like this. We're not sure yet how it will endly look in the marketplace, but they definitely need a new structure. And if some existing plugins want to also attach to the Shopware PWA, they need to be upgraded with the structure needed for Shopware PWA.
Yeah. Also, we have another question from Sander. Hello, Sander.
You skipped one.
Yeah,
Yes.
you need to switch to live chat.
Magento 2 implements the functional inheritance of themes, and are we going to implement this feature at VSF and Capybara? So the answer is it's already implemented. Lisa Reisman posted about it. I pasted the link on the URL blog. So there is an option to do this inheritance. Please just check this blog, and it's pretty well described how to achieve it. Okay, there is another question from Olivia. So using
Yes, I already answered. So Olivia was making sure if the Vue Storefront Next architecture is actually focused on getting the data directly from the platform API, and yes, the answer is yes. We're omitting like all the Storefront APIs, etc., but not for the Magento. If there will be a Magento integration, we will use Storefront API in there. And so here we are going to this question from Sander. And Sander is asking, if I want to build a custom integration, would I connect directly to Vue Storefront Next or go through Storefront API? And the question is, like, in most of the cases, you would probably go directly to the platform API. But if your platform API is very slow, for example, then it might be worth to use Storefront API. So it's actually case by case. We recommend using the platform API because it removes complexity, but it's not always the perfect choice. Like, it doesn't like one size fits all. Also, Olivia is asking, we have many questions, Olivia. Which documentation is the most current for the Next architecture if you want to build a custom integration for a new backend system? So actually there is a document for Vue Storefront Next architecture. I will send it in the chat, but I wouldn't say it's like a perfect documentation for the integration, because we are as I said, this is an R&D stream. So we are working on this right now, and we have many things set it up, but we also have some things that we haven't figured out yet. For example, taxes. So if you want to build an integration of Vue Storefront Next, because there are like 5 at this time already happening, I think you should just contact me, and I will point you to the right direction. I will make an introduction, etc. You can ping me on Twitter, or you can ping me via email, philip@vuestorefront.io. Yes, so that will be about integrations, and I'm posting this link on the chat.
There's another question. When should we build the Storefront API integration instead of calling the direct API? So as Philip answered, actually there are few cases for using Storefront API. One is that your API is pretty slow. So in this case, you can leverage on this Elasticsearch middleware we had and caching we had in Storefront API supported. But the other case is if you like to merge some different data sources into single GraphQL schema. And I think this is the best feature, and this is the unique selling proposition of Storefront API. So you can create resolvers. It's modular, so we can create module with the resolver to CRM data, another one to WMS data, another one to OMS data, integrated everything with one single GraphQL schema. So if you like to integrate different data sources into single GraphQL, Storefront API is for you. If you have very slow API and would like to speed it up, Storefront API is also for you. Other cases, I would suggest maybe to integrate directly because it's usually less complex to maintain. Okay.
Okay, so we have another
Capybara looks awesome. I like this question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we have also a question from Dan, our core partner. How to contribute to Capybara? Guess through the Storefront UI GitHub repo. So yes, one way of doing this is from the Storefront API repo, but you can also directly contribute to Capybara, but not yet. It's not yet open for the external contributions. I can also pass a link because, like, if you will dig, you will find it anyway. So I send the link to the chat, to Capybara repo. You can browse. I think if you'll find some bugs, you can even probably fix them. But keep in mind that generally this repo is not open for external contributions yet. It probably will be within a week or two. So right now, if you you really need to help us, you really need to contribute, I think you should do this with Storefront UI.
Yeah. So the next question is from Shira. Can we integrate any third-party commerce to VSApp using Storefront API? The answer is yes. There is even a tutorial in the Storefront API docs. Another one is, what was the reasoning behind the UX decision to go away from always burger menu?
So actually, I can answer this. Because if you'll probably notice, like, it's not exactly like always menu on top. Because on the desktop, yes, we have this high-level categories, which then are opening the mega menu. So I think it's more user-friendly on desktop having mega menu. But on the mobile version, actually, we have this bottom bar, which is actually also much friendlier for the mobile users. So what we did, instead of having like one solution, which is good for both, but not the best one, now we have two options, and both of them are like best for the certain use case. So we have mega menu for desktop, and we have this bottom navigation bar for mobile. So it's a little bit more user-friendly, I guess.
Yeah. There is another question. Would there be benefits of building Apollo around Storefront API for GraphQL schema stitching? So the answer is, it's already based on Apollo server, so you can use federations, because schema stitching, as far as I know, is no longer supported, but they have this federation. But actually our modular architecture lets you do exactly the same thing, probably more modular way. Okay, we need to, I guess we are running out of the time, so we need to finish for now. If you have any more questions, please just post them on Slack.
On Slack, on Twitter, on forum, anywhere.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah.
Subscribe us on YouTube. Take a time to look at the Capybara Theme, subscribe newsletter. Be with us, and we will try to be with you with the next core hangouts within probably 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, and thank you very much for being here, because we're seeing that those hangouts are getting popularity. I was looking at the people count, and we had 70 viewers at peak, so it's crazy. Last time it was 50. So we're really happy that you like this format. We'll try to do this more often, so discussing with you all the news, answering questions, and all the stuff. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.